This is Iowa, and you are seeing it in a very special time of its life. There's a fresh sense of joy, a feeling of wonder, even a mystery in the crisp morning air. Here in the middle of America, the most earthbound place of all, change is occurring. Economically, socially, industrially, scientifically. Man is changing his environment to meet his needs. It's exciting. Iowa feels very young now. These children are of a proud, strong stock. Their ancestors built this house, lived frugally in it, and set a pattern, a style that identified Iowans wherever they went. Time is changing that style, and these young people can feel it. This painting is called American Gothic by Iowa's Grant Wood. It is, and always will be, a perfect summation of that old Iowa style. Paul Engel, the famous Iowa poet, looked at the faces of American Gothic and said,
"In American Gothic, Grant caught a very honest and very important part of the Iowa character. It was a hard life on the farm at his time. The harshness of the seasons and of work is on the faces. It's on the hands. This produced a certain aspect of the Iowa character. That quality of stubbornness has always been a part of the Iowan's disposition. Now, of course, is changing. We don't have to work that hard. I think our face is softening. We're more knowledgeable. That's going to have an effect on our faces and on the faces of our children."
The changes of Iowa are real, dynamic, and bone deep. The change is exciting because it is very fast. To young people, the challenge to keep up with the world is vital and meaningful. With the stubbornness, the determination of their prairie ancestors, the people of Iowa are on the move. This man is one of Iowa's most respected businessmen and president of Iowa Paint Manufacturing Company.
The most pervasive thing in life is change. To be alive is to change. Fear of change is fear of life, and fear is the enemy of change. It's a limiting factor in human experience. To accept and understand the necessity to change somehow enables man to accommodate and to effectively participate in the life of his time. Each person's contribution and participation depends upon his sensitivity and his ability to reevaluate and to adjust to new and to different circumstances, and somehow to assist in the improvement and in the development of his environment and of his community.
The willingness of Iowans to meet the challenge of change is seen everywhere. Aggressiveness is a part of life. This man led Iowa to 2 Rose Bowl championships. He knows Iowa and its spirit as well as anyone.
You know, when we put 60,000 people in these stands on a Saturday, this represents 1 in every 50 people in the state of Iowa are in the stands here in Iowa City on a sellout Saturday. When they do win, they want to be a part of it. They want to be playing the ball game. They don't want to be reading about it. They want to be there. They want to feel the hurt of a tackle, and they want to feel the despair of a fumble. They are a part of it themselves.
The modern Iowan is very much in the ball game. A new determination is in his face. It's on his hands. He's out to set a new style for a different age. This newspaper building in Davenport is part of the style. This apartment house in Cedar Rapids. And this one in Des Moines. A bank in Council Bluffs. An insurance company in Des Moines. These and 1,000 other Iowa buildings give evidence of the change of style and the softening of the face. As never before, Iowa is building and creating. Modern schools like this one are Iowa's answer to the needs of increased population. The old one-room country schoolhouse is a thing of the past, but the old values of individual instruction still hold. Since the 1800s, Iowans have been able to boast of the nation's highest functional literacy rate. Perhaps more than in any other area of America, Iowa is changing without losing its old values. This is a Protestant church. This is a Jewish synagogue. A Catholic seminary. Because the family has always been supremely important, education, religion, and the home play a part in the change. Iowans are proud of their way of life. Iowa Governor Robert Ray sums up Iowa life this way.
Here in Iowa, we have created a climate, an environment, and a society in which the individual human spirit can grow and can flourish. People are free to develop socially and philosophically, spiritually, culturally, artistically, educationally, and yes, financially too. Iowa is a land of fresh, clean air and unpolluted streams, a land where friendliness and mutual trust are a way of life. From pre-kindergarten through graduate school, Iowans are already facing into the 21st century. Drama, music, and the fine arts are part of our way of living. Here in Iowa, life is time to do all those things you never seem to have time for.
The vibrancy of life is something that every Iowan feels. To the average woman, it's a promise of a more sophisticated social life. Finer things for family and friends to be found in modern shopping centers like this one in Des Moines, where women can shop with ease and convenience. Iowa life has never been fuller, never more exciting. The opportunities for aggressive, intelligent young people are boundless. This man is president of a successful real estate firm in Des Moines. Along with others, he's creating new housing, using new materials and methods. This man is president of Midwest Bag Company in Des Moines. He is one of many employers who contribute through manufacturing to the general wealth of the state. Over $10 billion worth of manufactured goods turned out every year. The state produces 10% of the nation's food supply, ranks second in the number of cattle it feeds out for slaughter. Using the most modern computerized techniques, these two men revolutionized the meatpacking industry. In 10 years, they have made Denison, Iowa, a nationally famous meatpacking center with annual business in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The idea that today's man can't build $1 million business from scratch was clearly exploded by this Spirit Lake man. A few years ago, he started this fishing tackle business in the basement of his home. With skill and ingenuity, he succeeded. Today, his products are known around the world. This young man is a Cedar Rapids physician. Here in Iowa, he has found the opportunity to serve his profession and his community. Another Iowa success at Armstrong, a small northwest community. Until this manufacturing plant was established, the town was in danger of decaying. Now it is one of Iowa's important small towns. This unique grinding and milling machine was invented in a farm workshop. Its success has brought Armstrong to life, and today provides jobs and income for many of the community's residents. As president of one of the state's largest public utilities, this man has a vital interest in the future. His job is to make possible the expansion of industry and the convenience of everyday living. This man was in the Iowa legislature for 16 years, where he worked along with other lawmakers in strengthening the law and procedures of his government. At just past 40 years old, he is chairman of the board of a growing insurance company. This man is a district judge. Along with industrial and scientific change come the social and legal problems of the growing society. Young men such as this must administer the law and maintain the standards of a healthy society. This is a Manchester physician. Like many other Iowa women, she has enjoyed a challenging professional life while raising a family of her own. And this Iowan is known all over the world as one of the most creative men in America. Paul Engel of the University of Iowa's Creative Writers Workshop. As a poet and literary spokesman, Paul Engel has established one of the great teaching centers of the world. Students from many countries gather here in Iowa City to share the literary freedom earned by this man. While Iowa undergoes industrial change and growing urban development, its natural beauty is being preserved. Nowhere is the change of seasons more dramatic than in Iowa. Every child knows the secret of his hills, his creeks, his valleys. It's natural for Iowans to protect these ancient resources. There are 91 state-maintained parks where young and old can enjoy all seasons. There are 73 natural lakes and more than 15,000 miles of inland streams. As Paul Engel said of American Gothic, people no longer have to work so hard. There is more time for fun. The life is easier. The faces are softening. We're living a different life now. The spirit of competition has never been greater in Iowa. Here, a Cedar Rapids woman devotes both time and money to instill the spirit and skill that is necessary for these youngsters to compete for Olympic medals. When people are free, when there is energy and time for the spirit, man's creative nature surges outward. All over Iowa, artists are at work. Professionals and students find themselves free to work in an uncluttered atmosphere. This artist says he couldn't work as well anywhere as in Iowa. Art centers, such as this one in Davenport, are being planned and built in many Iowa cities. With modern facilities like this in Des Moines, people are protecting the creative values of life so that all Iowans can study and enjoy art. 1,000 miles from the lights of Broadway, Iowans are performing in theaters of their own. Many famous theatrical people have come from the amateur stages of Iowa. Writers Meredith Willson, Richard Bissell, Thomas Hagen and McKinley Cantor, and performers Donna Reed, Gene Seberg, Don DeFore, McDonald Carey, Andy Williams, Roger Williams, yes, even John Wayne had his boyhood start here. America's largest legitimate theater is in Des Moines. Music has always been an important part of the Iowa life. Several cities have their own orchestras. Guest artists appear continually with college and civic musicians. Iowans are much better informed than their ancestors. With 13 television stations in the state, information and entertainment are at their fingertips. These stations, along with radio and Iowa's quality newspapers, provide a constant flow of facts and opinions, helping the Iowan understand the world in which he lives. That brightly domed building was Iowa's first Capitol. Today, one of the nation's largest universities sprawls around it. The University of Iowa boasts an enrollment of more than 20,000 students from all 50 states and 37 foreign countries. There are 35 four-year colleges in Iowa, along with 25 junior colleges. These schools produce more PhD candidates than any of 47 other states. Iowa is enriched not only by its large universities, but also by its smaller colleges. Scientifically, there is hardly a match for the facilities of Iowa State University at Ames. This atomic reactor serves some of the most important research programs in the world today. Iowa has long been a leader in atomic research. The uranium for the world's first sustained atomic chain reaction was produced here. Today, with this reactor, students and researchers explore peaceful uses of man's most fantastic source of power. These glass containers are part of the very important rare earth experiments pioneered at Iowa State University. Uses for these new materials are still being discovered. The proud Iowa pioneer used a different set of tools to carve out his world. His axe and plow and long rifle have vanished now, and these strange space instruments have become the daily tools of many Iowa scientists, leading us to the world of tomorrow. This man's name has been committed to history. He is Dr. James Van Allen, physicist and space scientist at the University of Iowa.
Since the time that my students and I conducted the first American satellite experiments with Explorer 1 in 1958, we have built and flown experimental equipment on 32 other successful spacecraft and high-altitude rockets.
From the very heart of America, a combination of man's most vital achievements, the production of food and fiber, the mastery of atomic energy and space, has been born. Iowa's place in space technology is much more than academic. It's real, and it's every day. From the Cedar Rapids plant of Collins Radio has come communication equipment for America's astronauts. When man reached the moon, Iowa was there. With computerized data, Iowa scientists are not only keeping up with the world, they're ahead of it. With miniaturized devices such as this one, the most brilliant minds of our time are probing the mysteries of space. Not only is Iowa on the move scientifically, but its industry is expanding at a rate unparalleled in its history. Established Iowa industry, such as this plant of Amana Refrigeration, are producing better quality products in larger volume than ever before. Firms like Marshalltown's Fisher Governor, by expanding within the state, give evidence to other large concerns that Iowa is an excellent place to do business. This Waterloo plant of the John Deere Tractor Works is a prime example of an agriculturally oriented company that has found Iowa a place to grow. Much of the nation is unaware that 127 of America's largest industries operate 516 plants in Iowa. One of Iowa's largest industries is this Alcoa aluminum plant at Davenport. Approximately 3,300 people share an annual payroll in excess of $42 million here. This is Alcoa's largest fabricating plant. The metals produced here are sold in markets all over the world. Alcoa, as much as any other Iowa industry, has proven that manufacturers need not make agricultural products to profit from an Iowa location. With the Mississippi River at its eastern doorstep, Iowa has water routes to the Atlantic through the Gulf of Mexico. The Missouri on its western edge makes Iowa the only state bordered on two sides by navigable rivers. Iowa today is an inland port state doing business with the world. To accommodate the new industries steadily taking advantage of Iowa's natural resources, new power is being provided. In this case, on Iowa's western border, by this Iowa Public Service Plant, one of the most modern of its kind. This chemical industry, which was built in Sioux City, is adding its products to those supplied by Iowa to users all over the continent. This Massey Ferguson implement assembly plant is contributing to the Des Moines economy. It's the site for the giant company's entire North American executive offices. This Quaker Oats plant is the largest cereal manufacturing plant in the world. This is the home of the Roll Screen Company in Pella. Wood products manufactured here add to the economy of the town and demonstrate the balance between agricultural and industrial output that is required if Iowa is to successfully face the changing times. Another of Iowa's most exciting industries is this one. These inks are used to produce some of America's most widely distributed magazines. This is Meredith Publishing Company in Des Moines. If sophisticated fashion is your choice, these presses provide you with the internationally known Vogue magazine. Or if you desire the latest homemaking information, you'll find it in Better Homes and Gardens. These and many other fine publications come from the presses of Iowa. While the presses and machines of modern Iowa turn out the endless commodities of life, another segment of the Iowa society labors in its special world. This is a very special world of growing things. This is Iowa farmland, the richest in the world. From the very beginning of Iowa history, the struggles of people have been written on the land. Life was hard in those days, and the pioneers who first found and settled this prairie had to dig into it and hold on against terrible odds. If a man stayed in Iowa then, he was stubborn and determined and God-fearing tough. The problems of Iowa's small farmers today are not too unlike those of their ancestors. Great skill and determination are still required if a man is to survive on the land. Because of automation, the trend is toward larger farms operated by fewer men. Many of Iowa's young farmers are college-trained agriculturalists and agronomists. Animal husbandry has become a true science, utilizing new techniques, new feeds, and different buildings. And the successful farmer of today is a trained businessman, legally and politically skilled. 25% of the nation's grade A soil is within Iowa, the first state ever to produce a billion-dollar corn crop. The value of Iowa's agricultural products totals nearly $4 billion every year. Iowa raises more hogs than any other state. Its cattle are the finest money can buy. Iowa's changing life has become a proud part of the Iowa story. For the first time in their history, Iowans are taking the joy of their accomplishments to the rest of the world. These people were members of the first Iowa trade mission to Europe, organized in 1965. The purpose of the mission was as simple and direct as the truth can be. Some 50 businessmen and their wives, led by their governor, wanted to shake the hands of their European counterparts. Traveling abroad at their own expense, these business leaders took it upon themselves to tell an uninformed or misinformed world about the state in which they lived. Many of them brought back technical information that has helped further develop their own businesses and the state's economy. Many of these same businessmen and others like them have since traveled to the Far East, Mexico, South America, and again to Europe. As Forrest Evashevsky said, Iowans want to be there. They don't want to read about it in the papers. They want to be in the ballgame. A part of Iowa's future lies with members of the Iowa Development Commission, whose job it is to spearhead the expansion of industry and urban growth. Helping them is every Iowan who knows his heritage and takes an active part in his expanding future. To all all who daily come to this state of opportunity, these Iowans extend an old-fashioned welcome.
Here in Iowa, we have built a good world where our children walk with pride and confidence. During this most exciting time in Iowa's history, when every segment of our lives is changing, all Iowans, young and old, have learned to live and work and plan together, ever pointing toward new horizons.
This, then, is Iowa's 8th day. A new time when strength and achievements of the past help mold the changing future.